it's very hard to study all the subject every week and be consistent in every one of them. So my suggestion will be to classify between the big and the small subjects. So the big subjects will be biophysics, chemistry, anatomy, basics of math and physics, and Hungarian, but for something else. So biophysics, how to approach a subject. Biophysics, what the teacher wants at Semmelweis is to see that you are able to think fast and to understand the basic concept. Of course, they know that you're not a physician, you probably come from a background of biology, so not even physics. So they know that, but they want to see that you're able to think logically. So comprehension, definition, understanding the formulas, so just not applying math, but understanding what you're doing is very helpful during an exam. And I'm going to give you a little story. So when I was in first semester, I approached biophysics in the worst way possible. So I went to my first try, failed miserably. Went to my second try, failed miserably. And I failed miserably on my second try because I approached biophysics like any other medical subject, which means learning by heart. So I do the entire exam, which lasts approximately 4 hours, so it's a very long time. And by the end, she's like, well, I mean, you know your topic, but I can tell that you don't understand anything, so I'm going to fail you and please come back next week. And that was really, really tough, but it taught me a valuable lesson that biophysics is about understanding, and once I got that, then it was smooth sailing on my third try and also in my second semester. So chemistry. Chemistry is a very big subject at Semmelweis. Semmelweis first year, the teacher, they love that chemistry. And the exam is very stressful. It's a big subject, there's different topic lists, and it requires a lot of skills. Because some topics about comprehension, it's about mechanism. Some topics, like organic chemistry, it's pretty much about just learning the molecules, right? But what helps with chemistry is to be able to have a good 3D vision. If you have a good 3D vision when it comes to organic chemistry, you see the reaction more clearly and you can understand the structure of the molecules. And that really helps when you need to, if you get a topic of organic chemistry and you need to like draw like 10 molecules, really helps if you understand just a tiny bit what you're drawing. Then anatomy. Anatomy is about understanding the layers. It's not about learning everything by heart, it's about understanding the layers. So what I suggest is to be draw your anatomy. You're gonna have classes on cadaver, which is really helpful. You'll take a textbook, go to your teacher and try to understand and to draw yourself the structure in every angle possible, and that really, really helps during the anatomy exam. For basics of physics, math and physics, so it's not the most difficult exam that you'll have at Semmelweis, but it is stressful because it's one of the first that you're going to have. I think it happens usually mid-October, if I remember correctly. Ryan, help me out, yeah, mid-October, yeah. It's not very difficult, but if you fail, it adds a lot of pressure because you're in your first semester at Semmelweis. There is a lot of information, a lot that you're discovering. So I would suggest to just gather a few people, just go over maybe some past paper if you find them, just try to understand, go over the handout that Semmelweis give you, and it should be fine. Like, you have many tries to take it, so no pressure if the first time doesn't happen. But it is a pretty important exam, because if you don't have it, then you cannot take biophysics, and without biophysics, you can go into your second year. So take it seriously. Know that when you enter Semmelweis in September, you're gonna have to do this exam in October, and it's better if you because of the stress and everything, that you take a few weeks to prep for this exam, and not just like a few days before the exam, as it is your first one. For Hungarian is not necessarily a big subject, but the thing is, which I didn't know when I entered Semmelweis, is that you can have an exemption at the beginning of the semester. And for people that have been to McDaniel, it's really nice. Why? Because basically everything that you learn at McDaniel in Hungarian, it's basically the exam that you're going to have in September. Hungarian is not a big subject, but again, you're in first year, first semester, a lot to discover. You're trying to figure out how to study for each subjects. So if you have one less exam to do, it's always, that they have less during the exam Then the exam period. How to organize yourself in the exam period. So the exam period is approximately 6 weeks long. Honestly, it's very doable to do all of your exam in one exam period. But the problem is people usually don't know how to organize an exam period. They get rushed, something happened, they fail an exam, and then they don't have time to finish everything. So my advice is to make several plans when you enter an exam period, with keeping in mind that anything can happen. You can get sick, you can have the flu, for example. With fever, it's pretty hard to take an exam. So keep 1 week to 10 days at the end of the exam period free, just in case like something happened, or like you found like you had an exam with like a tougher examiner, and like you stressed out, you couldn't remember, you blanked, I don't know, and then you need to retake. So give yourself some free time at the end of the exam period when you plan all of your exam to just have like an error march, I would say. The winter exam period is a week shorter than the spring exam period. Why? Because during winter there is Christmas. And when there's Christmas, it's holidays. So you're not going to have exam on those days. So what happens is that when you start the exam period, like mid-December, I would say roughly around like 18th of December, you have like 1 to 10 days of exam where you can take your exam, and then you're going to have like 10 days where you don't really have the opportunity to take an exam, which is good. It gives you 10 days to study. But if you, for example, take an exam, let's say 2 days before Christmas, something happens and you fail this exam. But you work for this exam, you studied for this exam, so you don't need 10 days off to redo everything. That means that you're going to spend the first 2 weeks on one subject. Roughly, in one exam period, it's 6 to 8 subjects, which means that you have 4 weeks to complete 7 subjects. If you do the math, that's a lot of an exam per week. Alright? So keep in mind that at the beginning of the exam period, you want to take as many exams as you can. And if you remember the big subject, which you have been consistent throughout the entire semester, right? You want to take them first. You want to take them first because that's going to make you feel good. It's a good start into the exam period, and it's going to like be more easy for the rest of the exam period. Keep in mind also that you get tired after a few weeks of studying. It's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress. You get tired, you don't concentrate as well. So do the big one, the tough one at the beginning, where you have time to retake, you have time to rearrange everything. So yeah, better to take many exams before Christmas. What I would always do is like the first or second day of the exam period, I take one of the big exams. Because then I do it one very early on, then I take another week, do another one that's also big, and then it's only 10 days into the exam period and I already have 2 big subjects out of the way. That gives me a lot of time to finish my exam period. That gives me a lot of time to, I don't know, if I'm tired or if I feel sick, or like today I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't study, because those days are good, right? I'm sure they do. No? No, they don't? Yeah. Every day you study, every day it's like 6 to 11, super focused. I'm not like that. So those days happens to everyone, and it gives you more time. It gives you more time to finish everything. Yes, avoid the trap of postponing an exam because of fear. So that is a huge thing. A lot of people, and if you talk to your friend, you're going to talk to your friend next year, a lot of people, they postpone their exam because they're afraid, because they don't know everything, because it's scary, because, I don't know, something related to anxiety. Everyone feels it, but I have a personal rule that I've been applying, and usually it works. So if you're rushed, and let's say you haven't had time to finish everything, all of your topics, again, real life student here, no one finishes every topic before an exam. It's not a lot of people, at least, okay? What I would tell myself is that if I know 90% of the topic list, I will go and try my exam. Because you never know. You might get the topic that you know. You might not get the topic that you know, but that is okay. At least you tried. You have more chances when you know 90% of your topic list to pass your exam than to fail. So take it. It's okay. If you're missing 5 topics, it's fine. Time is ticking, you only have 6 weeks, so you need to go and try. So I will go to the exam, and then, you know, there is 10% that I don't know. And I would think of myself, I would look at my topic list, and I would start studying, and I would like, okay, what are the easiest topics for me? Usually they're at the beginning, you know, it's all about definition. After a semester of classes, you know the basic of each subject. I hope so. So I would leave those ones at the end, so if I was rushed, and at least the topic that I don't know are like the very basic one, which, you know, when you look at them, you're like, okay, I can say at least 1 or 2 things on it. Alright? This is a very important rule, honestly. It's a very, very good one. This is real life stuff. Next, never think of CV as an option. You push yourself till the last day. A lot of people, again, after...
What is CV?
CV, good question. So there's going to be some subject, some exam that you can CV, which means that if you don't have time to do it during this exam period, you can do it in the next exam period. It's a very good thing. It's a very, very good thing if you don't have time to finish your exam. If you do, just push yourself. I know it's very tiring. I know you're going to be going to classes for 14 weeks, then you...
CV is a Hungarian abbreviation, yes?
Yeah.
It means csak vizsga, only exam, yes? So this is the, it's not the curriculum vitae, yes? Yeah. It's csak vizsga, only exam, yes. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a curriculum vitae. So yeah, my advice is that it's a very good option. It's something that you need to keep in mind, but it's not something that you want to do. It's really not something that you want to do. So when you get at the end of the exam period, everyone gets tired. Maybe you're gonna have like one of the big exams to do, or like the small one, and you're like, oh, that's okay, I can take it next semester. I'm gonna buy myself 10 days of holidays, right? But then the next exam comes, and then you know you feel stressed again, and you still have all of the exam to do plus other exam. So my advice to you, and I know it's really hard, don't take the holidays, push till the last day, and try to get them done. Because usually with people that start CV early on, what they do is that they CV one exam into the second semester, and then they have a hard time finishing the second semester. So they need to CV another one till August. And then, you know, sometimes they get tired. They've been, you know, summer holidays, they don't really want to study. So they push it into second year. And then second year, the subjects are harder, you know, it's more pressure, there is more to learn. So what happens is that then at the end of the second year exam period, first semester, second year exam period, then they start studying 2 subjects. And then it adds up, and then you get more and more and more tired. So think about that. Early on, you don't want to CV. CV is an option, but you don't want to take it. Yeah. Then, exam period administration. So that is something at Semmelweis that you're going to figure out, is that the administration can be pretty stressful at times. So, to take your exam, you're going to have to register for them. And usually there is a deadline 2 weeks before the exam period starts. You don't want to miss the deadline. Why? Because everyone is on their computer, everyone is trying to register as early as they can, and the spots for each exam is pretty competitive to get one. So if you want to have a chance to have your, you know, plan and to have the exam date that you want, just be very aware of what time it starts and what day. This is very important. If you don't get the exam that you want, the day that you want, that is okay. People always drop out before an exam. So there's a high chance that you might have a spot on the day that you want, but you're gonna have to wait and see. So be careful of that. Then, if you wanna contact the secretariat, during the exam period, every student is stressed out. We don't have enough secretary. They get overworked. They get stressed, they get cranky. So my advice is that every administrative task that you have, do it during the semester. Don't wait till the last minute. Because behind the computer, there's a human being that works really hard, and that if you start your email by not being very polite, she's not going to reply to you first. And let's say that you have 48 hours to get, you know, the reply that...
Lucky you nowadays.
And let's say like you have a question about an exam because you had to retake, something happened, you don't know how it works and everything, and you really, really need that answer because you only have 48 hours before you want to take that exam. Well, be polite to them. That's going to get you a long way at Semmelweis. You're working with human beings. I know they're teacher, but they have a life. They have, their own preoccupations. Sometimes they're having a bad day. So be careful of that. Don't wait till the last moment to fix your administrative things. If you have a question, so you can email the secretariat, but you can also email the department itself. So for example, if you have a question for anatomy, you can email the Department of Anatomy. Some departments reply faster than others. That's, it's the life. But usually they reply. Usually if you really, really have to take an exam on a day and like there is no spots, you can contact them. You can ask if they can open more spots. Usually they're really nice. They're gonna try their best to help you if you have any question or if you can CV or not CV or retake. Usually they reply to you and they're really nice. Again, be polite. That is very important. For each exam, you have 3 chances. If you don't show up because of fear, for example, and you didn't deregister in time, then your first try counts as a fail. So you only have 2 tries left. All right? So that means that you kind of messed up one opportunity to get an exam. So again, bring me back to the next point that I've made. If you know 90% of the topic list, even if you're very stressed, very anxious, but you can't deregister, go and take that exam, okay? Don't give up right before because you're too stressed, because I've seen that happen. I've seen some students register for an exam, but they go into like the building and everything, and they're like, no, I can't take it, and they leave. And they lose 1 chance. That is dumb. Like, at least you tried. If you fail, and you learn. You're gonna ask questions. You can ask questions, but like, okay, why did I fail? They're gonna tell you, and then you learn. So, for some subjects, CV needs to be accepted by the department. So, again, be aware of the email, the email for each department. Be very polite, because again, you're gonna be rushed at the end of the exam period if you need to CV or something. So be very polite, don't hesitate to contact them. Keep that in mind, because a lot of students, they don't know, especially in first year, and then they get at the end, they were told that you can CV, turns out that you can't, and it's a whole mixed up. Other very important points, don't listen to anything, like try to select what you listen to. But usually don't really listen to other people at Semmelweis. If you have a question about the rules, the CV, how many retake, contact the secretariat, the department. They know. Don't listen to the student, because every year it changes. Every year, they have more rules, or like they change, the prerequisite, they change a lot of things. So ask the department, ask the secretariat. Oral exam preparation, that is another thing. So at Semmelweis, you're gonna have a lot of oral exam, which I don't know for your country, but in France, we're not used to take a lot of oral exam, and it's definitely very stressful. Why? Because when you take a written exam, you're in front of your paper. If you fail or you say something dumb, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know that you don't know that detail. But when you're in a room and there's 3 other students, very stressed out again, 3 other students behind you, there's an angry teacher waiting for you to explain a topic, it can be very stressful. And usually students, they make mistakes. The thing with oral exam is that it's very easy to get better at. It just takes practice, that's it. So my advice is to be very structured. You start from definition and then you get into details. Too many times I hear oral exam, like I can tell that the student knows. I can tell he knows all the details, the names of the proteins, everything. But they start and it's so disorganized. They start from a detail, they go back to the definition, then they go in the middle, like it's all disorganized. That is not nice. The point of an oral exam, and that's what they want to know, the point of an oral exam is to evaluate if you can think logically and if you can think fast. For you to know every details and learn everything by heart, good for you, you're gonna get a 5. But you're not gonna get a 5 if you know everything by heart, but you say everything in a disorganized fashion. It needs to make sense. You're a scientist. You're gonna be a medical doctor. You need to be able to explain mechanism in a very simple way. Why? Because one day you're gonna have patients. You're gonna have to be able to explain what's going on if the patient asks. So you need to be good at that. Second one is to be confident. Speak clearly. That's very important. And the third one is, again, be polite. Too many times it is underestimated to be polite to students. And be happy to be here. I know you're very stressed and they're very tired to have like 20 students in 4 hours, you know, saying the same things over and over again, and they've been doing that for years and years and years. Sometimes they get tired. So show that you want to be here, smile at them, like just be joyful, be happy that you're taking this exam. It's gonna go great, you feel confident, and like be in a partnership with them. So avoid the I don't know and I'm not sure. But if it happens and you don't know, don't try to bullshit your way around it. Usually it doesn't end up well. Be honest. Say, I can recall, I remember you saying something, I remember in my lectures I saw something like that, but right now I can't recall all the details. They're gonna start explaining to you. They're gonna start explaining to you. When they start explaining, because you have been a very good student and you have studied, this is just a minor, pass up. When they start explaining, try to bounce back from what they say. So like, don't let them explain everything and you're like, okay, no. Try to ask questions. Be like, oh yeah, right, I remember this, I remember that. Try to think on your feet. This is very important because maybe you don't know everything right now, but they can see and they're going to feel that you have seen this in the lecture, just like on the spot, you can recall everything. That's okay, no one's perfect. They're not going to judge you for that. They want to see, again, if you can think logically. Speak only on what you know and try to make sense of what you don't know. Again, it's bouncing off of the explanation. If you don't know something, that's okay, but try to make sense, try to be logical, try to make connection in your brain. That is very important. Don't be arrogant and don't argue with the teacher. Diplomacy is key. I've seen some exams with some students, and they felt very, self-righteous in that moment because they have studied really hard or something. And the teacher is like, no, I'm not going to pass you, or I'm only going to give you a 2 or a 3. And then they start arguing. This is not the right fight at this moment. Just take the 2, take whatever grade you have. If you're really unsatisfied about it, you can always retake for a better grade. But in that moment, you don't want to make the teacher angry. Even if you're right, that does not matter. In that moment, the teacher has the power to give you your grade. He has the power to fail you or to pass you. You don't want to be aggressive. Really don't do that because I've seen people do it. And usually what happens, again, you're working with human beings. Usually what happens is that then, the teacher is going to tell the head of the department and it creates like a whole mess. So do not do that. Be polite. Lots of teachers, most of them super nice, adorable, always available to help you. So do not be arrogant and try to argue with them on something. Okay, they're the teacher, you're the student. Keep that in mind. Yes, so the examiner usually are here not to test your ability to learn by heart a lesson, but the ability to think fast and logically. Yes, so I think we talked about that quite a bit. Don't give up during an exam, even if you think it's not going great or that you don't know your topic, just keep going, do it till the end. It's very important. Lastly, on mental health. That is another big thing at Semmelweis. You get very stressed out, you get very tired, your brain chemicals is not working so well at some points. So my first advice to you is that be smart with who you surround yourself with. And nerdy is the new sexy. There is no shame in being nerdy when you're in med school. No shame at all. Be nerdy, learn, go to the library. It's cool. You want to do that. That's going to get you far in medical school. Be resilient and brave. Again, sometimes maybe you're going to fail an exam. That is okay. We all do. Be resilient, learn from your mistake, and try again. Keep a work-life balance to avoid burnout. Keep in mind to laugh every day. That is very important. That makes so much difference when you're in the exam period and you're laughing with your classmates at the library or something. So don't isolate yourself too much. I know a lot of students, they love studying, you know, in their bedroom alone. That's okay, do it, but keep in mind to go out, be with your friends, laugh. It's like a game changer. So don't guilt trip yourself for not studying 24 hours. You need a breather. Your brain needs a breather. So, again, be consistent, make a plan, study every day. But if at night you want to go to the gym, please go to the gym. Or if you want to go out and have coffee with your friends, please go and have coffee with your friends. It's going to relax you, it's going to make you happy, you're going to have an emotional fulfillment from it, that's going to make you better, it's going to make you more joyful. Therefore, you're going to go into the exam with another mindset, and that is very important. Choose smart hobbies, so yes, relaxing and emotionally fulfilling, so it keeps you happy. Approach an exam by wanting to give it your best and not wanting to be the best. And that is also very important. Just go into an exam with the idea that you're going to give your best and you're going to try your hardest. Why? Because if you think that you're already the best, first of all, you walk in arrogant, you know, and we talked about this. Teacher, they don't like it. Second of all, if you fail, then you're going to feel very bad about yourself. And there is no shame in failing. It's a learning process. So go in there wanting to give it your best. If you fail an exam, try to understand why instead of blaming it on the teacher or yourself. So I kind of talked about it. Evaluate what is beneficial for you in the long run. You're in the exam period. You're in the third week. You worked hard. Okay, you worked hard. You passed a lot of exam. You want to have a night out. It's Budapest, beautiful city. There's a lot of things to do here. Lots of fun to have. It's a great idea. Do it if you can. But evaluate in the next day how is that going to make you feel. Because sometimes, you know, when you're in the exam period, you feel guilty for not studying. So if you go out the entire night and go home at 3 a.m., for example, the next day you're going to be tired, you're not going to be efficient, you're going to waste more days not studying, and that you get into a spiral of negativity, and that's not going to help you with the amount of stress that you're going to have to deal with the rest of the study. Ask for help and don't isolate yourself. Yes, so that's what I talked about. I get that a lot of people feel comfortable studying at home. That's great. But sometimes you're going to need help. Sometimes you're not going to be able to understand every topic on your own. So choose good friends that study hard and try to collaborate with them on topics. Med school is a marathon, not a speed race. Yes. Med school lasts 6 years. It's a long time. And every year comes with a load of work. First, second, and third year, usually you're very focused on classes, but then when you get in fourth year, you start, you know, thinking about research, and you want to do this and T, and a lot of different options that Semmelweis offer. That adds a lot of workload. So keep in mind to not burn all your energy in the first year. Just try to be very consistent, do not rush and get so exhausted, and then you need like 2 weeks off to recover, because you know what, it's always here, like Semmelweis is always here. You're always gonna have something to do every day. So try to be very mindful of that. And lastly, sleep is your best friend. And when I say your best friend, you need to be sleeping. Why? Because you learn things while you sleep. So please, before an exam, when I see people that go for 3 days studying the entire night and not sleeping, it can work for some, but it doesn't work for most of them. So sleep. The best thing you can do before the night before an exam is not to cram the entire night. It's to sleep. So you feel good, you feel rested, your brain is functioning normally, and you're going to be able to think logically on the exam. So those are my advice to you. I hope it didn't scare you too much. I tried to be as truthful, because, you know, medicine is worth it, it's great, but it's also a lot, but I'm sure you're going to do great. So best of luck for the entrance exam. And thank you for time.
I think it was very useful. It's a pity that many people already